Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hard Fact on 92.3 Nigeria Info and Hearing Port Harcourt. I'm Adedayo. 9 minutes gone past 3 p.m. and you're welcome to the Thursday edition, or this Thursday's edition of the show. The Thursday edition is good because it comes after the Wednesday edition, and I like the Wednesday edition because we discussed the Niger Delta development on Canvas on Air. And Thursday edition is also good because it comes before the Friday edition, and Friday edition is my favorite edition because Friday officially kickstarts the weekend. So that's why I like the Thursday edition. So you're welcome to it, and I hope you're having a fine Thursday as well. I hope it's been a productive one for you and things are looking up. Now from now till 7, till about 7, we keep the conversation going, and you're welcome to join in at some point via the usual platforms. We stream live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. You can join the conversation via Twitter also at Nigeria Info PH. Also, we stream live on YouTube. Just search for Nigeria Info PH and you can join the conversation there on as well. Okay, we have got WhatsApp also and phone numbers which I will give out later on. Well, welcome to the show once again, and as usual, a few matters are up for discussion on the show today. Yes, I have side comments coming up in a moment, random stories and random thoughts of mine on these stories, which will not be discussed. A reminder, will not be discussed now until later on after the meeting is at 6 p.m. during the open season segment. We'll now take your thoughts on every matter mentioned on the show, including my side comments. So let's see. So after today's side comment, I do have a rant. Rant is back. It's been back for a couple of days now. So something in my mind, I'll express some thoughts in it, and you're welcome to express your thoughts in mine till 4 p.m. Now, we've got the business news coming up. That we do. We got news every hour, by the way, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I wonder why. And after that, we're discussing Twitter fight. Oh yeah. There's a storm on Twitter at the moment, and it's a storm unlike any you've seen. I mean, it's not common, really. I mean, some Nigerians and even other human beings from other parts of the world are used to engaging in Twitter fights, and I wonder why, really. But some people seem to relish that. They literally live their lives on Twitter, and I guess that works for them. But this is kind of different. This was literally a federal government, the presidency, or the president more like it, with his supporters, and that includes many Nigerians, I believe, versus those on the other side who disagreed with or who have a different perspective on a certain tweet put up by Mr. President, apparently in a bid to exert himself and in expressing his capacity and readiness to deal with criminal-minded individuals, especially in the southeast. Well, here's a story, cut to the Punch newspaper. Nigerians attack FG, government fumes as Twitter deletes Buhari's civil war post. Let's take a quick look at some part of that story right now before I move on. Oh, here it is. Senior lawyers, human rights groups, and the Igbo social cultural organization, the Ohaneze Inigbo, have hailed a social media giant Twitter for deleting a controversial post by the president, General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, on Nigerian civil war from 1967 and 1970. And the tweet, which was posted on Tuesday, read in part, quote, "Many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand," end of quote. Now, the tweet attracted strong criticisms, with many Nigerians saying it was a threat to commit human rights violations. And following several complaints, Twitter about to pressure deleting the tweet. And a comment by tweet stated, quote, "This tweet violated the Twitter rules." Now, the social media giant had earlier in the year banned then U.S. President Donald Trump for his inciting comment, which led to the attack on the U.S. Congress. However, the federal government, in its reaction, said Twitter's mission in Nigeria is suspicious. Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said this while addressing State House correspondents at the presidential villa, Abuja, on Wednesday. And he labeled Twitter as complicit in the polarization of Nigerians. Well, we'll discuss this in the 4 o'clock hour today, and what I'm thinking is, or major question is something really wrong with the president's tweet? Oh, well, there's several other sides to that, I suppose, but was the president's tweet wrong? I will be discussing that in the 4 o'clock hour, and I'll be having two guests with me for that conversation. And both guests, by the way, hold opposing views on the subject matter, and I'm really relishing that conversation already. So one of my guests, Daniel Awolaja, he's a pharmacist and social commentator who will be in the studio. Also, Enefa George Will with the River State Civil Society Organization. He'll be a guest in the studio as well as we look at that matter. Was the president's tweet wrong? 45 after the business news. Now, we've got the news updates coming up, and after that we'll dive into some of the matter. Royal Highnesses become employment merchants. Yep, Royal Highnesses become employment merchants, and you can find details of that in a story from the Vanguard newspaper. Wicked to monarchs, sell employment opportunities for your subjects, get dethroned. Let's look at that story as well, or at least a bit of it. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State yesterday said he would dethrone any traditional ruler found selling employment opportunities ceded to indigents in his domain. Wike, during the flag-off of the construction of a Ahoda campus of Rivers State University and dualization of Ahoda Omoku Road in Ahoda headquarters of Ahoda East Council of the State, further ordered the demolition of illegal markets sprawling in Elele Alimini in some part of the state. I'd like to go to the relevant part right now. Quote, I can't bring development to this place and criminality will be on the increase. We want companies to come to Ahoda, but how will you get employment without companies? Every day you cry of unemployment when for the few companies that have come, you not allow them to stay. You and your traditional rulers will chase them away with your demands. You even sell chances of employing your people will be tied to that traditional ruler that I will catch selling what belongs to your people because you want to collect money. I will dethrone that traditional ruler that day. End of quote. Is this a frequent occurrence? Traditional rulers becoming employment merchants, trading them on the employment exchange, possibly. How often does this occur, and what is the impact on our communities? We'll be discussing that in the 5 o'clock hour. I'd like to get your take on that. Headlines 5:30, major news at 6 p.m. and open season comes up afterwards. Pretty much that's the show today. At about 7 it comes to an end. The sports gang will be in by 7 p.m. for extra time as they bring you up to speed with latest happenings in the world of sports. Not sure if the Olympics is taking place, and also who is buying who is selling who is moving where, who's managing which club, when the new season opens, I think maybe in August or so, as far as the major leagues are concerned. So that's the show today. Any changes you will find out, just stay tuned. But I'll keep the ball rolling now with today's side comments. Remember, random stories and random thoughts that I came across which will not be matters of discourse at this time. Sadly, very unfortunately, 2 persons have died after they were attacked by pirates on the Care waterway in Degema LGA of Rivers State. The attack took place last week while they were returning from Port Harcourt to Care in separate journeys. Now, speaking on the attack, a member of the Care Community Development Committee, Daibi Ekine, told our correspondent that traveling by water into the community is now a nightmare following incessant pirate attacks. And let's hear what the governor, let's hear what Mr. Ekine had to say about this most unfortunate situation indeed. Where is it? Here we are.
pirates attacked 2 of our community boats, collected the engine, and left with 2 boys. After that, when we are crying over it, we heard that they have collected other 75 from other people that are living in our community. And those now too rampart from our territory. We have been calling state government to help us to send security towards our territory. So we are begging them, they should help us to send us security in our territory so we have rest of mind.
That's a very unfortunate development, and I hope that the security agencies are going to look into that. And the governor, who is the chief security officer of the state, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, we also look into that and put whatever measures or steps need to be put in place to ensure the safety of lives and property, the people of those communities and those who want to traverse the waterway to and from or around those communities. Very important. I hope we do not get to a point, and I fear that we may have reached there already, where deaths or killings or murders no longer affect us. We see it as a way of life, as a normal sin. If we've got there already, unfortunate, I hope we can make the journey out of that ugly situation. And by the way, to Your Excellency, sir, are you going to what's the strategy you're going to employ here? Are you going to blow their heads? Just asking, Your Excellency, are you going to blow their heads off, Your Excellency? I'm just wondering, the next Security Council meeting that, I don't know when the next one is, but whenever it is, I imagine this might be one of the issues that will be discussed. Your Excellency, what's the strategy? Is it to blow their heads off? Also, remember a robbery operation called One Chance was stopped yesterday along Rimouski Axis in Port Harcourt Metropolis. Now, this was after the victim raised alarm as the robbery gang attempted to take his bag of money and pushed him out of the car. And an eyewitness told our correspondent that a 3-man gang, 2 men and a woman, were handed over to the Choba police station. The victim, Sermon Ibrahim, spoke to our correspondent on his very scary experience, I imagine, and here's what he had to say.
I arranged my money to go to the bank. I discovered that somebody started shouting, my hand, my hand, my hand, my hand. Open the door, open the door. I tried to open, they say from outside. I tried to open from outside, they say from that side. Before I could realize, my bag is already taken away from me. The next thing I started fighting, they gave me my bag. They said, what is that? They wanted to push me out of the car. I have to bring my head out of the car, and then started breaking the windscreen. From there, I'm shouting, I was shouting, help, oh, help, oh, help. Oh. Nobody was responding at all. God so kind, one man just came and then covered them. And they wanted to escape. They fell inside the gutter. Then that was how they were apprehended. And then people came and started torturing them, and they were moved directly to the police station.
I did express some comments or pass some comments on this matter yesterday, so I won't dwell over it much. But Your Excellency, sir, during the next State Security Council meeting, maybe the issue of One Chance may come up in discussion. What's the strategy, Your Excellency, to address this? Are we going to be blowing their heads as well? Those who engage in One Chance, is that the strategy we're going to be employing for this particular crime? We just blow their heads off, Your Excellency. Is that it? Also, the family of a 5-year-old girl alleged to have been defiled by a 50-year-old man is afraid the case might be compromised at the police station where he's being detained. The man, name withheld, hails from Obakari in Emohua. He was arrested by officers of the Ahoda police station 2 weeks after the family reported the incident. An uncle to the 5-year-old girl, Wisdom Bale, said the man, after denying that he committed the crime, offered to settle with the family, but they refused. Let's hear what the uncle had to say about this treacherous event indeed.
Because they have money, they want to do it in their own way because of the money they have. All I'm asking for is justice for this little child. I took her to a hospital called Doctors Without Border, and they confirmed it to me that she was fingered. Yeah, he's from the same community. Although he do come to our side to drink, this child was alone when he came there, and the child thought he wanted to send her message. Took her from our house to his own house and took advantage of her.
Oh, I think that's the mother. Sorry for that error. So I hope that justice is done. It's unfortunate what happened. That can never be reversed, but I do hope that this man faces the punishment for what he has done. By the way, Your Excellency, once again, because we have rising cases of child molestation, of rape, of abuse, sexual abuse, and all of that. What are we going to do to fellas like this, Your Excellency? Are we going to blow their heads off as well? Just asking, because I don't know. Are these matters discussed? Defilement, rape, and sexual abuse. Are they discussed at the State Security Council meeting? And what's the strategy for that? Are we going to recommend blowing their heads off also, Your Excellency? Just asking. Just asking. Your Excellency, if I may venture, I know that we are in the mood and spirit of showing force and speaking out against crime and criminality, but I don't think threatening publicly to blow people's heads off can be and should be a strategy of government, especially one that is publicly expressed by the governor of a state. We have the rule of law. Your Excellency, being chief barrister, you must know about the thing called the rule of law, and nowhere in the rule of law does it suggest that when we apprehend or confront criminals, except of course in cases where we engage in them in a gun battle or gun duel, nowhere is it recommended that we must or have to blow their heads off, Your Excellency. It doesn't work that way. The rule of law does not work that way. And also, Your Excellency, you are obviously very influential. You have a lot of influence on a lot of persons, including many residents of Rivers State. We're trying to discourage an ugly scourge, and that's of jungle justice. But Your Excellency, when you stand, in the public place and publicly say you're going to blow the heads of criminals, I'm not saying we shouldn't fight criminality or apprehend criminals. But when you suggest that we're going to blow their heads off, and their families will not know, their parents will not know, the criminals don't have parents, we won't tell them, we'll just blow your head off. Subliminally, or other persons may misinterpret that to mean His Excellency has given us the go-ahead to just blow people's heads off. So when we catch a thief stealing our bread, let's not bother calling the police. Let's just blow his head off. You understand? After His Excellency, even His Excellency is planning to blow the heads of people off. So why shouldn't we also blow their heads off? So, Your Excellency, I think that we should be a bit more cautious, in our messaging. Yes, we need to sound strong. Yes, we need to sound focused. Yes, we need to sound determined to fight criminality, to flush out bandits, to ensure that they are punished in accordance with the law. We must be careful not to send the wrong message and encourage citizens to go about seeking whose head to blow off. Nancy, was there anything else that caught my attention today? I'm not sure there's much else. To the CP, a Booker Friday, the versatile CP, the good people of Rivers State and beyond, are still expecting the results, the report of the investigation being carried out by your men, I suppose, on your crackhead children that extorted Uniport undergrad to the tune of about 150,000 naira. Also, of which we were told you were expecting bank statement. Also, reportedly, other crackhead children of yours allegedly are accused of having extorted another person of 200,000 naira, and even the POS operator who made the payment, who facilitated that transaction, was also identified. So these things are not difficult. If we just apply some intelligence, not only apply intelligence and getting intelligence reports when law-abiding citizens want to embark on a protest, which is guaranteed by law, by the way. Let's also exercise and exhibit some intelligence when gallant officers and crackhead children in the police force commit crimes as well. Let's display intelligence in those areas also. The good people of Rivers State once again expect the outcome, or await the outcome, of these investigations. And to Your Excellency, in my capacity as your Senior Special Advisor on Reimagining of Critical Matters, Your Excellency, sir, let's pay some attention to education, especially at the basic level. That's one strategy we can employ in a bid to curb crime, rather than seeking to blow people's heads off. Let's improve infrastructure in our schools. Let's get teachers. We need at least 10,000 teachers, 4,000 non-teaching staff. Let's equip our schools with equipment. Let's equip the laboratories. Let's give them furniture. Let's give them ceilings, roofs, bathrooms, water, power, the basics, to enable a teaching learning environment, so we can equip our children to challenge and compete favorably with their contemporaries, with their peers, the world over tomorrow. In the future, a future, I might add, in which flyovers may no longer be required. All right, that's it for now. I go on the break. I return shortly with today's rant, and I promise you I will not be blowing anybody's head off. Please stay with us.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk. Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dio.
Okay, Mark, it is Hard Fact to 91.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio, and I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something in my mind. I'll express some thoughts on it, and you're welcome to express your thoughts and mine to 4 p.m. But before I get to today's rant, I've got a very instructive WhatsApp message here from an Obina, and I'd like to read that message. And it goes thus. Dio, before you start, please remind our regular callers. Actually, I'm reminding everybody. 1, it's a discussion and not a voice note. That at some point you might want to interject and ask questions. 2, that once the screener gives their name, they're not required to tell us their names again. And 3, that after making contributions, we don't need them to remind us of their names again. Thanks, I'm Obina. Obina, thank you very much. I don't need to explain that. I think it's self-explanatory, really. Obina, thank you once again. That was Obina calling. It was him, Obina. All right, that's it. Welcome back. I'm Dio. I'd like to rant for just a bit. Something in my mind caught my attention the last couple of days or so. I'd like to express some thoughts in it. Actually, it was today. And you get to express your thoughts and mine all the way to 4. You probably heard of the expression or the term on-the-job training or something like that. I think. Apologies if I'm not getting the phrase or expression right. On-the-job training, when you get a job, sometimes you may need training even as you do the job to either equip you with the skills you needed to even get the job done, or help you even improve the skills you had already, or expose you to some new trends, or new skills required, or new ways or new methods of carrying out that job. And I suppose that for a lot of industries, a lot of business places, they take that very serious. However, even as far as on-the-job training is concerned, one thing I do not estimate that employers of labor anticipate or think is that the employee has completely forgotten what the job description is. I don't think that when employers plan on-the-job training, what they are thinking is that the employee would have forgotten why they were employed in the first place. I don't think that's the case. But somehow, I get the feeling that as far as lawmakers in Nigeria are concerned, their own on-the-job training may be of a different kind. I suspect strongly that they might need training intermittently to even remind them. Maybe a crash program, maybe a seminar or a workshop designed simply not to introduce them to new methods of lawmaking, not to bring them to up to speed with latest developments the world over, not to even enlighten them as to what the challenges are and what they should be doing as lawmakers to help improve the situation. I think workshops need to be designed for our lawmakers simply to remind them that first, they are lawmakers, and this is what the job of lawmaking entails. Because I fear and possibly suspect strongly that they may forget every now and then. And why am I saying this? Let's check out this story from the Vanguard newspaper. Senate considers bill to compel federal state governments to complete abandoned projects. Now the headline again from the Vanguard. Senate considers bill to compel federal state governments to complete abandoned projects. Let's check out the story. A bill seeking to make it unlawful for a government or the federation to have an abandoned project in any part of Nigeria on Wednesday scaled second reading in the Senate. The bill, titled, quote, Compulsory Development Planning and Project Continuity Bill 2021, was sponsored by Senator Jibrin Barau, representing APC Kano North. And in his lit debate, Barau said the bill seeks to make development planning compulsory for all tiers of government. I don't know why development planning has to be made compulsory, because government is there to engender development. How do you engender development without planning for it? So the whole idea that we need to compel a government to engage in development planning, for me, is very, very worrisome. It does raise the question, what exactly have the government at the different levels been doing all of this while? Do they not know that they have to plan for development? Reading on. According to the lawmaker, it seeks to make provisions for each of the governments of the Federation to establish and maintain project implementation plans for projects within their jurisdiction from inception to conclusion. Barau lamented that the non-completion of projects and lack of continuity in government programs and policies are largely responsible for Nigeria's lag in economic and infrastructural development. Now, that may be a real problem, no doubt about that, but the earlier paragraph I read, he says, to make provisions for each government of the Federation to establish and maintain project implementation plans for projects within their jurisdiction from inception to conclusion. But that's why we have the legislature. I mean, every now and then, the legislature at the national and even the state level throw in our face oversight functions. Oversight. What exactly does that? This is exactly what oversight functions is supposed to do. When the governor presenting his budget comes before you and says, I intend to do this, I intend to do this, I intend to do this, you must be able to establish that that project is implementable. You must be able to ascertain from that executive that they also plan to execute that project. And you must determine from that executive how they intend to go about implementing and executing that project from inception to conclusion. I mean, there are projects, no doubt, that may span beyond the tenure of a particular government. But then again, what systems and structures have been put in place to ensure that even when and has it been broken down in phases? Okay, maybe this is my second term in office. This 4 years, there's a phase 1, there's a phase 2, there's a phase 3. What is the plan to ensure that when successive governments come in, that they can also continue that implementation? Because you have a structure, you have a system, you have a plan in place to ensure that even if a moron is there, if they simply follow through with that template, it will come to actualization. Now, Senator Barrow continued and he said, quote, Mr. President, my respected colleagues, all over the world, government is a continuum. Ideally, once the baton of leadership of a nation is handed over to a new government, the onus lies on it to embrace the projects, policies, and programs of the previous administration without recourse to any personal, party, or primordial interest. That is entirely wrong, because Senator, at least in our peculiar case, the Senator is suggesting that before now, there is no developmental plan. So if a new governor, for example, or a new president comes into office and determines that the guy who was there before him made a complete mess of whatever projects they had initiated, there was no plan, it was baseless, it was not necessary, it was absolutely useless, why should that person be banned to continue that project? And once again, when a new governor, for example, encounters such a situation, it is obvious that the legislature had failed to do their job of what they like to throw about as oversight functions. He also said, however, one major identifiable drawback to social, economic and infrastructure development in Nigeria is lack of continuity. State resources are poorly managed as some political leaders often embark on the white elephant projects that cannot endure the test of time at the twilight of their tenures. This unfortunate tradition has badly characterized governance and induced corruption since 1999. Once again, the only reason a governor can embark, or the president or whoever, or even a local government chairman can embark on what he has termed white elephant projects that cannot endure the test of time is because the legislature, of which is one by the way, has failed in their duties, because in many instances, especially at the state level, they are nothing short of rubber stamps. They do not question the governors, they do not ask questions, they do not peruse the budget. That's even in cases where they actually have budgets, unlike in some cases where the budgets are projects. Once you see projects, don't bother about budgets. Because if the legislature was doing its job like it was supposed to, then very hardly, I suppose, would we find cases of so-called white elephant projects that that cannot endure the test of time. So, rather than a law or a bill intended to be a law to compel executives or to follow through with projects, ensure they finish it up or continue with it, how about a law that compels legislature to do their jobs, their oversight functions, to do their jobs of passing budget, to do their jobs of scrutinizing the budget, to do their jobs of acting as checks on the executive? Because if they do their jobs, a lot of what we experience and a lot of what he's describing will not happen. We will not have abandoned projects littered all over the place. We will not have executives begin projects and they have no intention of wrapping up. And even if they had intentions of wrapping it up, if they carry out their oversight functions appropriately, it will be very difficult for the executive to steal funds, because they will ask questions. Phase 1 is supposed to end at this point. This is how much you're spending for it. Where has the money gone? Why is the project still at this level? And if the executive is unable to provide satisfactory answers to these questions, the law gives them the right to impeach that person. If they do the jobs appropriately, we will not be having this conversation. So I propose that we have a law compelling the legislature to constantly remember their job description, mandating that a workshop should be created periodically to remind them why they're there and compelling them to do the job for which they were elected. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you. Any thoughts about? Let's hear it. Numbers are the same line to open. We got 0817 923 0002 or 0003, but 0817 923 0007 as well. A reminder, we're live on facebook.com/NigeriaInfoPH and YouTube as well. Search for Nigeria InfoPH. Tweet at Nigeria InfoPH. WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. Via Facebook, Obina Uwaga goes, it's another old talk, no show. If the salaries are slashed, they will begin to take their work seriously. Another white elephant, we have laws, but implementation is the same. These rulers cannot do anything meaningful. Ulo Kanjo Christian goes, it shouldn't be applicable to River State because that monorail past administration abandoned will not be completed. You can't waste our money just like that. Prince Joshua goes, it's a welcome development. At least it's high time we start seeing some finished projects in our states. The Senate have begun to understand the responsibilities. I doubt that. I've got Oscar on the line from Elimbum. Oscar? Have we not? Hello, I'd like to welcome.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, I am listening to the program, so they call this number, and I want to.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Concerning what you said, what I think is our legislature, rather than performing their roles, they always come up with laws that will impinge on the rights of the poor masses. Not that they don't know what to do, they know. But the issue there is, before they come to canvass for our vote, they will tell us what to do. When they get there, the narrative is different. We are there to make laws, or we are not there to develop. Then what are the laws? put in place that will have effect on the society to no avail. So that's just my take on it.
All right, sir. Great to have for me. Once again, join the conversation via Twitter as well at Nigeria Info PH, and I will be getting to that in a moment. Also, WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. At Ejiofor Onyushi via Twitter goes, should this kind of bill come up in a country that practices real democracy, as government is a continuity, you don't need to be compelled to start the project where previous governments stopped. Hello?
Hello?
Alright, so you may have to call back. Not sure what's causing that sound. But numbers again, 0817 93 0002 or 0003 and 0817 93 0007. Those are the only three numbers that are open for you to join the conversation at this time. Any other number is not active for the moment. Elsa send a WhatsApp message on 0809 030 6416. Hello, Hard Factor, welcome.
Hello, Dayo.
Hi, go
I
ahead.
called out this Oscar from Olympic.
Go ahead, please. You're welcome.
Hello.
Go ahead, you're welcome.
Can you hear me, Dayo?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. When you are talking about government, the continuity, because we know that the government is always a success. But when we are having the past administration, the present administration supposed to complete the past project. Well, I don't know about the lawmaker that you said.
Hello, Caleb.
You're supposed to understand their function there. I believe before any project is being carried on by the state government, then they pass the budget to them. Then they're supposed to look at the content of the budget and approve it to the state government.
Okay, all right. Hello, 913. Hello. Apologies, we seem to be having a bit of an issue with the phone lines this afternoon, but the number is again 0817 93 0002 or 0003, and just as well 0817 93 0007. Hello, Hard Factor, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Dayo.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Prince Will Amadi from Isoko.
Go ahead, please.
I hope it's a welcome development, but the fact remains that what if the new governor coming will now abandon project for the next coming one? How do we do it? Like in River State, for example, this monorail issue is a big gigantic project which we definitely almost finish our money. So how can we now ask the governor coming to work on that monorail?
It's very simple. Any project that is being designed by the executive must have been budgeted for. Before it was budgeted for, the National or the State Assembly must have perused that budget. If they didn't think it was viable, they should have struck it out, or at least asked questions to ensure it's viable. For it to be passed in the budget, that means it's a viable project. When the new governor comes on board, and by the way, viability also means that even if the tenure of that project will exceed the tenure of this government, there is a plan put in place to ensure that there is continuity. Continuity means money for funding and other things that are required to make it work. So the next assembly that comes in can also ask questions of the new governor. Why are you not implementing this if he's not doing so?
Yeah. Okay.
What's up, Di? This kind of bills make me think that our lawmakers are really clueless and that Nigeria has been turned to a joke by politicians, not some more Pastor Vincent. All right. Hello, Hard Factor, welcome. If you ask me, there's need to compel the executive to continue a project. With this, there wouldn't be uncompleted projects littered across the nation. Nevertheless, there's need also for a law enforcing the legislators to do their job without compromise. Hello, 90.3. Good afternoon, you're welcome. Go ahead. Hello, you're welcome. Please go on. Hard Frank, you're welcome. Go ahead. Hello? Via Twitter at Umor, lots of digits here, goes Dyer. So if the governor decides to build flyovers in every corner and neglects education without employment opportunities, the next governor should come in and continue with the uncompleted flyover. I think that's a bad idea. The monorail is an example of what Governor Wike should continue. Not necessarily so. Every administration must have a policy direction. Definitely. And once again, the lawmakers, if a new administration, assuming there's a flyover being constructed and a particular tenure of a government ends and a new governor comes in and say he has a different policy direction, he wants to focus on education, he wants to build 1,000 schools maybe, and is convinced that this flyover is problematic and is a bad one. Now, in the first instance, if the previous legislature had done its job, if indeed it's a bad project, it very likely would not have seen the light of day. Very likely. Now, if a new guy comes on board, assuming that it's a great project, a new guy comes on board and he doesn't want to implement it or he doesn't want to finish up that project, the legislature can also ask him. They are mandated by law to ask him, why don't you want to finish this? And he must be able to prove to them that there's a problem with this project. He must be able to account and give reasons why I cannot continue with this. What was, once again, what was the continuity plan? Because when you say government is a continuum, it's not like another government left by the previous administration to say, once again, this is what we plan, how we plan to execute this project. This is where the money is coming in from. This is the time frame. There has to be a blueprint well spelled out. Not that the new guy just comes in and sees that there's one bridge half completed. Well, what was the plan to complete it? Where was the money supposed to come from? Zero. No plan. Nothing. Now, he might go ahead to complete that project, and that's fine if he does so, especially if he's convinced that it's in the interest of the state for him to do so. But if there was no plan at all, if there was no foundation, where is the continuity? So somebody waking up today and deciding to just put up something somewhere that wasn't even clearly budgeted for, and another guy comes on board who wants to design projects, developmental projects, who wants to plan for it, and who wants to adequately budget for it as well, may have a problem continuing that kind of a project. May, not must, but may. Via Twitter at Kenneth IBRM1 Twitter, the issue must be tackled at the selection point. That when the governor decides who takes party tickets, how do you expect them to check on the government through oversight? That bill is of no value to our current political attitude. I've got Bernard from Rumors in the line. You're welcome. Please go on.
Yeah, good day, Daniel.
Hello, go ahead.
Okay, like what you are saying concerning continuity project, I can see that when Governor Wike came in and started completing the project that was started by Amity, you can see what the APC guys who are saying that the project was initiated by the former governor. The project was initiated by the former governor. So that is the reason why many governors abandon projects.
So is that a reason, Bernard, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Now, for you, I'm asking you now, is that a reason why a governor should not continue with a project that is beneficial to a state?
That's what made.
I'm not asking you what makes them. If you will take the time to listen to the question I'm asking you,
already beginning of the monorail.
All right. Bernard, great to hear from you. But it's a conversation, a reminder of that. Via WhatsApp or Facebook, pardon me, Adedayo Peter goes, the bill is considered to be good if it can be assented to by the president when it's eventually passed. It will eliminate waste and make things to work as it should be. I'm not so sure about that personally. Hello, you're welcome. 91.
Hello, David.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, there is no amount of what will I say that will make someone not to go. That is the state-owned money that will just go down the drain in the name of politics or in the name of politicians. No, it's wrong now. It should be continued. You build upon, and that is how we begin to see massive development.
What if a project?
Once you have been elected into the place as a governor,
I'm trying to ask you a question.
You're not a governor.
I'm trying to ask you a question.
So it is wrong.
All right. Still via WhatsApp. From our days as small children, and even from GS1 home economics class, we were repeatedly told that it is bad table manners to be talking with food in your mouth. Which legislator are you suggesting would oversight projects? Is it the same federal legislators who pad federal budgets with projects the counter law of the LGA should repair? Or is it the state legislators who don't even have personal copies of the passed and signed budgets of their state? How would they know if what is in the current one was in the last one? We can't keep passing laws to stop something inaptitude caused. Inaptitude would still cause the new law to stop working also. That's some text. Good afternoon. I think one of the problems is that they simply rubber stamp and allow any bill to second reading because they don't want to antagonize their colleagues, even if they know the bill is a poor one. These lawmakers should be subjected to watch the American Congress, or especially the British Parliament, debate for a whole year. It will save us a lot of dumb policies and bills we hear every day. Frank from Rupoko, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Yes, Tayo, good evening.
Hello, go ahead, Frank.
Yes, Tayo, I think one of the greatest disservice we've done to ourselves is when we actually begin to think that these governors do this project from their pocket, and so we utilize them instead of trying to hold them accountable in the first place as a trustee of the trust. We are the beneficiaries of this whole fund that is given to the state. You see, the problem we have is that politics are another problem. If you understand, I'm from Rivers State, so let me use this as a case study.
Yeah.
All the projects embarked on by this governor, and I'm sure 50% of them is not because they are sustainable projects. It was because he needed a project to flag off and commission to get his name written on it. And so, because there is this unity, and so that whole nature of performing their civic responsibility as members of the legislature that is supposed to peruse these documents and scrutinize them is just lacking, because for them it's about winning. The us and them kind of thing is a major problem.
Yeah.
And so the citizen is not also happy because we don't hold them accountable.
Yeah.
You understand? If
Absolutely.
the governor is coming here to commission a project, only the Royal Highness will go to radio and pay to welcome him for coming to flag up the project in the first place. Unnecessary thing. They will sing Ikwere, Ikwere, and before you know it, the governor is coming, will thank you for coming. It is our money in the first place. So I don't know how we're going to see it, that this is our money. He's managing it on our behalf.
Frank,
until we begin to see that from that perspective,
Frank,
we cannot get any project
Frank, great to hear from you.
Because the
We
next
have to wrap it up right
always
now.
want.
Thank you very much, Frank. Via WhatsApp, Daya, organizing workshop for the MPs will definitely lead to another sitting allowance, which is in addition to their already huge take-home package. What they need is willpower to implement the necessary policies or constitution. That's from Mr. Oko. You're right. That will just increase their running. Is it running cost or running allowance, something like that? Anyway, that's a wrap for now. We got business news coming up. When I return, we'll be discussing the president's controversial tweets. Do stay with us.